way. I didn't know if I was doing this show. Then I got a text that I had to go do something. Did something change? Something change? Man, it's like is the near death experience happening now? Am I seeing things? Am I reading things? Do people really need my help, or do they not? What it is? So, guys, today's show, we're going to talk about life after death. More of conversation between, do you guys think it's real, or do you think it's not real? So that's the question we're gonna do. So I'm gonna put the intro on. So take time real quick. Go to the bathroom. Go to the mirrors. I can't even talk today. Damn. Go to the bathroom. Say Bloody Mary 3 times, and we'll have a kick-ass show. I don't even have my stuff ready. I'm a slacker today, man. My God, am I? Like I said, am I seeing ghosts or something? I don't know. But I'll see you guys after the intro.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass. Did you see it?
All right, welcome everybody. Welcome to the Paranormal Highway. Yes, today we're talking about the afterlife. You know, in the past, when I have done shows about the afterlife, the near-death experience, I would say they're probably not the they're the less. I'm not saying popular, but the lowest views. It's so weird that like yesterday I put out a video that I put together about different people's stories in the hospitals and all that about the near death experience, and a lot of people, I don't know if they're afraid of it, they don't care, they want to run from it. I mean, I don't know, and it's so weird because if you think of all communities, right, all the Mandela effects, you have the Bigfoot communities, the UFO community, the paranormal community. You would think the near death experience for the paranormal would be kind of huge, right? Because isn't that what you're doing in the paranormal? I mean, you're searching for ghosts, you're searching for spirits. Isn't that technically the afterlife? Isn't that what you're trying to discover? Like, why is this thing floating in my house? Why am I seeing this image? You know, why am I having an EMP trying to get voices? I mean, technically, you're taught you're talking to the afterlife. Isn't that what the paranormal is? And nobody wants to think about death. And you know what? I can see that 100%. Nobody wants to think about death. But isn't when you go look at a haunted house, you're going to a haunted graveyard? I mean, technically, isn't that what you're dealing with? You're dealing with the dead. I guess the difference is you're saying death in a different way where you're thinking of yourself. You know, if you because of all the stories you've heard of people in hospitals or anywhere, the day before something happens or hours before. And, they can see their parents, they can see some animals or people they don't even know. like light and day, they're right in front of you. Maybe you're right. Maybe Danny, maybe you're right. Maybe people are just afraid if they see something like that, doesn't mean it's your last hours or days. I remember when my wife and daughter went to go visit my father at the hospital up in Bremerton, Washington. We went to visit him, and it was a normal visit. It was a normal visit, right? And we were talking to him, and he was laying in the bed, and he was telling us that he goes, guys, I know it's going to sound crazy. This is what my father told me. He goes, I know this is going to sound crazy. I saw myself in this bed. I was floating up here. I saw myself, and he goes, then I saw my mom and dad. They touched me and said everything's going to be good, fine. I mean, that's what my father was telling me. I mean, he said clear day, because I know people are going to say it's the medication or not, but because I've been to hospitals before, I've been on medication, but I never had this experience. And what happened is he had a collapse, and the next day on Memorial Day, he actually passed. He wasn't in the hospital for being, to have his last breath. He had to get his leg, not one of his legs taken off. And so, they were just doing some random stuff because he had some like fluid on the right leg. I know it's kind of gross. So it wasn't thinking this is going to be the last time we're seeing it, but that was the last conversation that I technically had with my father, telling us that he was floating, he saw his body, and he was talking to his parents. And then the next day, gone. I mean, talk about, taking us by storm. So it's, what medication, why was that medication right there different than any other medication he's taken at the hospital? Or did the brain know it was going to be the final time? I mean, this is stuff that's fascinating. Like if there is a science reason, hey, I'm open. I want to hear the science. I want to hear everything on why they think that, it's going to be our last hours or days. I mean, there's stories that when people are almost in comas, but I mean, they're in and out. And then they get this burst of energy, like they just snapped right out of it, right? They just snapped right out of it. Just knowing that within 24 hours, they're passing away. I mean, it's fast. I know it's sad in some ways, but it's fascinating to know what's going on up here. And of course, there's skeptics for everything. I get that. And, and doctors, they got to go by data, and they got to say no, but why? Why? Technically, why kind of fight it in a way? I mean, just for the heck of it. Just for the heck of it. Let's say, I guess it is all science. It is the medication. There is no afterlife in a way. Just say there's nothing. There's just blank. Once you go, lights out. Hallelujah, and that's it. So why try to take that away from people about seeing their parents and all that? If that gives you that wonderful ease and that smile, let them have it. You know what I mean? You don't need to be a skeptic in certain times. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, guys? I mean, listen, I truly 100% believe there is an afterlife. I'm just saying that don't even try to take that away from people to ease their ways into it. I think there is an afterlife. Now, what that is, I can't tell you. I don't know. You know, and I put up an easy poll. Easy poll. Do you believe in the afterlife? Easy poll. Nothing hard at all. And it says 90% says yes and 10% says no. Yeah. And what that is in the afterlife, I mean, that's the second question, right? Once you believe there is an afterlife, I mean, if your religion, you know, if you're very religious, you know, for example, you know, a lot of people know this. My grandpa was a minister. You know, he was a man of cloth. You know, and I remember now he kind of retired when I was like 5 years old and above, and we did a lot of trips with them to churches. You know, he would my grandpa used to make furniture for these churches. So my brother, Dr. Wu, myself, and I, we used to go on a lot of trips with them to deliver furniture to churches. And I always remember, because I'm not a religious guy. I'm not saying I'm not a believer. I'm a non-believer because technically I'm baptized. So technically, if I'm baptized, that means I get a free pass to heaven. So I'm good to go there. I'm good to go. Hey, you know, they say if you get baptized, you get a ticket to heaven. So hey, if that's so heaven's true, I got my ticket. But going back, I remember going to churches, and churches always seem so spooky to me. Very, very, very spooky. When what I mean by that, by being spooky, is when you go there when there's nobody sitting in chairs and all that. You go in there and the lights are not on. I remember walking in these churches, you know, no lights on. You know, we're picking up the we're picking up the furniture, and we're bringing them in. There's such a weird feeling in these churches. It was just like, you know what I mean? It was just a weird kind of feeling inside the inside the church. And I'm not saying weird in an evil way. Don't look at me like, oh my God, Eric is on the path of a highway to hell. No. Just churches were weird. But there are so many stories. Laugh out loud. I've been baptized over 100 times. My dad was a preacher. He kept trying to get rid of my demons, and it felt a lot. So, Danny, you and I, my friend, we got a free pass to heaven. Hey, that's what they say. So, you and I, you know, I'm sure we can somehow break that contract if we were really bad, but we're good people. We're good people. We're good people, Danny. We're good people. So we got our pass. We're good to go. You know, and then I remember one person goes, one person when I said that I was baptized and I get a free piece to have free. I get a free piece of heaven. I get a free pass to heaven. They go, well, who'd you get baptized by? A southern church, Southern Baptist. Oh no. They're like, no. The pass to heaven for being baptized is for the Catholics. And I'm sitting there like, whoa. Hold on a second. What? You're saying I get baptized and I get this piece of paper that said I was baptized, I was dipping water. And this is not a pass to heaven, but you're baptized with Catholic, and that's the pass in heaven. I go like, really? I didn't know that certain churches have more power than other churches. I didn't know certain churches are just better. You know, if God thinks that the Catholic Church is the best in the world, then why there's even a Southern Baptist church? Why there? You know what I mean? It's like, come on. Baptize. Don't tell me it all depends on what religion you get you're baptized. Because who says you're baptized is wrong? Your church is wrong. And the one I went to, I didn't really go to church. There was just one down the block. A lot of kids go there. And one time they were doing this baptized like at 7 p.m. at night. I had nothing to do. And they're all getting dipped in a swimming pool. And honestly, I didn't really understand it. I'll be honest. I didn't really understand the whole concept of getting dipped in water. They said, "You're welcome, my child. You're welcome to get baptized too." And I'm like, "Oh, great. Why not? Get dipped in water, get a piece of paper, and it is." Let me see here. When you get baptized in the South Carolina, they buy you a prize and Coca-Cola. You got a Coca-Cola? Actually, you know what? I can't say what. I know they had. I mean, guys, I was young. I know they had like cookies and it was probably punch. They actually had snacks. One of the reasons why I say, hey, why not? You know, I'll go get baptized. I'll get baptized and all that. You know, I get cookies and you know that and so and even after I got baptized, I never went to church. I, you know, and I have never read the Bible. I know some lines in a Bible, mostly because in the Mandela effect world, the lion lay with the lamb or whatever lay with the lamb or whatever it is, the wolf lay with the lamb. I don't know. There's a Mandela effect with it. So that's probably the only reason why I know even a line from the Bible. But you know, but I mean, but I did get baptized. And listen, you know, and one thing what I love about my grandpa was one of the best things I love about my grandpa was I didn't even realize it as a kid that when he retired from the church, he never talked about the church. He never tried to convince anybody to go on, you know, everyday basis. My grandpa was like, you know, his belief was God gave you a brain for freedom of choice. You know, you have a choice if you want to go or not. You know what I mean? And that's a beautiful thing. Like he truly believed that. He didn't believe on forcing anybody to do something they don't want to. If somebody wants faith, they'll go find faith. And again, even though I don't go to church or anything, I don't have any issues, anybody that believes in faith, because I always say this: if faith is what makes you a better person, so be it. Even, I know this sounds crazy. I think Scientology are a cult, but technically, if that makes somebody a better person, that they're better on earth, so be it. Whatever makes you a good person, you know, I support. I support anybody who wants to be a good person. I support people who have open minds, and I support people who listens to other people and all that. So I am not here saying God's not real. God is real, because at the end, when it's our turn, we're gonna find out, right? You're gonna find out. You know, and to me is as long as you are a good person, you know, and if there's an afterlife, good thing is going to happen for you. And there's, like I said, again, there's tons of stories. I know the video that I put out yesterday is about 11 minutes long, so I won't play the whole thing for you guys. But let's listen to some of the stories that are in that video I put out yesterday. What did I? Oh, I almost forgot what I named it. All right. So let me play. It's 11 minutes long, but I'll cut from here to here. But let's just listen to some of these stories of people, of claims they have said before, they left us. So here we go.
Beth Ronsovich's father, in the final stages of his life, was confined to his bed in his residence in Indiana Township. Beth and her mother stood solemnly beside him, providing comfort and support. Despite his closed eyes and the burden of his terminal lung disease, Albin Langus unexpectedly found joy in that moment. Curious, Beth asked her father, "Dad, what is making you laugh?" To which he replied, "Oh, it's just the fact that we are all here together." Ronkovich and her mother were filled with confusion as they pondered over the identity of the person he was seeing. To their surprise, he was even giggling. Recalling the incident, she shared, "He said, everybody's together and we're all just having a wonderful time. We're having so much fun."
Honestly, people, let me go back to here. Honestly, isn't that beautiful? Seriously, isn't that beautiful? Guys, listen, like I said, I told you guys in the beginning of the show, if anybody who came in late, and I know this is not a popular topic, and I'm not going to get a lot of people watching today, and that's fine. Like beginning the show, my last thing with my father, not even knowing he was going to pass away the next day, not even knowing that, telling me that he saw himself float above the bed. He saw his mom and dad, and he felt warmth and stuff. That's beautiful. You know what I mean? That's beautiful. That's awesome. No, it's like comfort before the sadness, I mean that's, I don't want to see anybody pass away, but I don't know, man. I just think that's beautiful, and I'm glad I shared that with, my father, and my wife was there, and, again, like I said, when my father, he wasn't even there because of, he was near death at all. We were in the middle of going to do construction and build this special handicap bathtub for my father. I mean, we're in the middle of that, and then that happened, and then he passed away on Memorial Day, the next day. But my wife and I always remember that, and I still remember my father go, "I know you guys gonna think I'm crazy. You think I'm all drugged up, but trust me, I've been on this kind of drugs before. I've never seen my father or mother before." How do you explain that? How do you explain that? You can't. So, it was sad that I lost them, and in a weird way, I guess the only thing weird that I'm happy with, it happened right before the construction started. The construction was about to start on my house on that. So let's continue with some more.
And those were the last words he spoke. She mentioned this while discussing her visits to patients at UPMC Family Hospice and palliative care. Amidst her busy schedule, she reflected, "I said to my mum, what more could we ask for than that? Wherever he was going, he was in a good place and happy."
I agree.
This experience...
That's what I'm saying. I agree. That is perfect. Hold on a second. I want to see, my mom saw differently family members in the room over the few days passing, and we're going to get to that too. That's very important too, because I want to get to one of my jobs, and we're going to get to that. I'm glad, Carla, I'm glad you brought that up. Paranormal Highway, I lost a man I was with for 24 years just 7 weeks ago, and I thought, I shed tears. I am happy he has ascended. I have lost every single person in my life. Sorry to hear that, Penny. I'm sorry to hear that, Penny. I know that's not, you know, every it's hard to say. Every type of death is different for everybody. Every person is different on how they you know, they the responsibility, for my case, when my father on the next day basically like collapsed. Out of the three brothers, my father gave me the power to like keep going or let him go. Because my other brother, who actually technically became my sister, was going through some psychological problems, so couldn't make a decision. And Dr. Wu, you know, so that was left to me, and and making those decisions and stuff, and kind of like living with those decisions after you made them. It's not easy, and it's not easy. So Penny, I appreciate you sharing that with us. I know it's hard, and I hope at least, Penny, by you sharing that, maybe in a way it feels good, because here in the chat, we support you. We got a lot of great people in this chat. I see Bigfoot Michigan Rob in here, and Michigan Rob wrote something here. My dad gives me many clues he is around, some very strong, which I have spoken publicly. Yeah, there's clues out there, right? There's clues, and they're only clues that because there's certain things that it's like they know if they do this and this, you're gonna get it. You know what I mean? You're gonna get it. Me too, Penny. My wife of 24 years. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that too, Danny. I know it's been a while ago, but it's never easy. One day I'll hold on. One day I'll tell the tale of the man in the stripes. I honestly is okay. I learned to just accept death. I do. I do feel badly. He never had the spiritual side. He had a very bad fear of death. Big for Mr. Rob, same for me with both of my parents, but at different times. Yeah. I remember, a lot of people who know me know, the first time I ever saw my mom, I was like 17 going on 18. My mom left before I was even 1 year old. So she left when I was a baby. So, the first time I seen her, it was 17, 18. And, we never had a mother-son relationship. Even when she came back, she was living in Oklahoma. She came back to Fresno, and we never had that relationship. It was, I was already a full-grown man in a way, so we never had that. And I remember she passed way younger than my father did. She passed like she was 55. I think she had hepatitis C, not B or A. I can't remember exactly. And it was a combination of that and chemicals. And I remember them calling me and telling me, and I feel sad saying this, but I never had a spiritual connection that a kid and parents should have. I mean, of course, it was sad. It struck me, still hard, but it wasn't like with my father, which he was there raising 3 kids all by himself, which a lot of mothers do. A lot of mothers do. More mothers raise kids by themselves without fathers. In my case, I was raised by a father and no mom. So, And I was never mean. I was never a jerk or anything. I'm like, okay, she's back. Great. Hey, I never actually, it was funny. This is funny, people. This really, really happened. This really happened. My oldest son, who's 26 now, he was just like, I can't remember the exact age. He was like 4 or 5. And when we went to Fresno to visit, we were visiting, Mom. It was like the first time my son met his grandma. and my son goes, come here. He did this to my mom. Goes, come here, and he whispered in her ear, and then my mom told us, because I don't know how to answer that. He actually asked me why I left his grandpa. Because my son and grandpa were close. They were close. It's like he actually asked her why she left. I never did that. It was none of my business. Yeah, I know. Some people will say, but Eric, you're the son. It is your business. Yeah, but that was their relationship. I till this day, I never knew what caused the split. Don't know. Never asked. But my son did. All right, let's get back to the video.
Experience of her father's, where he felt like he was attending a final party with someone unknown to her, happened just before Roncevich embarked on her journey as a hospice nurse. In her line of work, she has grown accustomed to hearing similar positive encounters from her patients or their loved ones who recount what the patients have shared. In particular, individuals who work with the dying, including herself, may report witnessing a vision, hallucination, or dream of someone who has passed away before them. This phenomenon commonly involves a long-lost loved one, with mothers being the most frequent presence. However, fathers, siblings, grandparents, and even pets also often make an appearance.
Yes, there's a lot of stories, people. There are a lot of stories that people have seen their pets. And that's awesome. That's really awesome too, because take away the science and all that, knowing your pets go somewhere, I mean, that's awesome. That's great. So people have seen not just, like direct loved ones, animals are an extension of families. That's, you love your animal. You know what I mean? So that's a beautiful thing.
Seemingly welcoming them to whatever awaits beyond. According to Roncevich, age 48, this experience is always calming, and she has never encountered a frightening encounter. Additionally, she mentions that individuals in an unconscious state may lift their arms, as if reaching out to hold someone's hand, and their mouths may move as if engaged in conversation with someone. To skeptics, these descriptions may appear to border on the supernatural, reminiscent of the extraordinary encounters depicted in supernatural thrillers found in movies or literature.
See, I kind of hate that in some ways, and I understand that movies and stuff, a lot of people plant stuff in their heads like, oh, they saw a movie, they're just remembering, they use a lot of excuses like that, because there's movies and stuff. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure movies plant some stuff in their heads, but really, come on, you're lying in bed. I truly, maybe in a few cases, but a lot of cases, movies don't have anything to do with it.
Alternatively, they may question whether patients are in a state of delirium due to pain or medication, leading to incoherent ramblings. However, the research published in 2014 presents a different perspective.
Let's hear this.
This study was conducted through interviews with patients at the Center for Hospice and Palliative Care, situated in a suburb of Buffalo, New York. The patients were specifically questioned about their dreams during sleep, visions experienced while awake, and the things they observed or sensed while in the hazy state between sleep and wakefulness, that commonly occurs in the final days and weeks of life. Out of the 63 patients analysed, 52 reported having a dream or vision. Interestingly, these dreams were distinct from the ordinary experiences and anxiety.
Hold on. I see this. The Bible states that only humans have souls. I will never take that. I am not a Bible person. I can't verify if the Bible says that, but you also got to remember that at the end of the day, the Bible was written by man. It was written by man. So, depending on who's writing it, might have saw more importance to humans than they think animals are just this. So, no matter what, a lot of things you read in a Bible is all still, at the end of the day, was written by man. And it doesn't mean that they got it right. All because it's in the Bible, it doesn't mean every single thing is exactly right. You know what I mean? I mean, how many stories you read from people that's been exaggerated, has been kind of more towards what their philosophy is, or they're mistaken the philosophy, like so whoever supposedly wrote that in the Bible, like, did he say, I mean, I don't know. Somebody is gonna have to say in the chat, like, did the person in the Bible who wrote that said God himself went to him and said, you, only humans have souls, no animals? I mean, really, so, or maybe they're more, when they wrote it, they're more thinking of people that could talk with language and stuff, and animals, they talk with barks or meows or whatever it is, so it's understandable that people who wrote this, humans are on top of the food chain, but you know what I mean? It doesn't mean they understood it exactly. So you got to take that with a grain of salt, so, and guys, like I said, I haven't read that in the Bible, so I'm just giving my opinion, and that's it. That's all I could do, give you my opinion.
Of the general population. According to Christopher Kerr, CEO of the Center for Hospice and Palliative Care, as we approach death, the frequency of dreams significantly increases, with a majority of these dreams being about the deceased loved ones who have passed away. In the study conducted, it was found that more than half of the participants were either awake or in a state of being partially awake and asleep during these experiences. Additionally, in about 3/5...
And I'm sure when people see things, it's going to be different for every person if they look like they're awake or asleep. So I don't really care too much on when they saw it, because I'm sure it's different for everybody who's in that state. I'm just giving my 2 cents. That's all I'm doing, is giving my 2 cents. What's this? I remember seeing a deer that was hit by a car on a video, and it appeared as the soul was leaving the deer. Yeah. I believe first of all, you got to believe that a human has a soul in the first place. I mean, it's okay. Now, this is for people who believe that we all have souls. Okay? So, for the record. And if you believe that people have souls, you kind of got to believe that everything with life has a soul, right? I mean, how do you pick and choose? Like, you have a soul, but hey, you cats, you dogs, you don't have souls, I would feel anything that lives, that breathes air, has a soul. That's my belief.
Fifths of the cases, there was a common theme of preparing to go somewhere. However, it is important to note that in fewer than 1 out of 5 instances, the patients reported distress caused by these dreams or visions. Dr. Kerr, who participated in the ongoing research and is also involved in the expansion of the study, as well as the development of a book and film documentary titled Death is But a Dream, explained that there seems to be an inherent sense of tranquility or security that diminishes the fear of death.
Okay, I'm going to forward it to the part that's me. But guys, the full video I put out yesterday. Please, go back and watch the whole thing. It's stories and of course, in the video, I don't cut out the skeptics. I don't do that. I believe you need to hear the story from all sides. I truly believe that. I always feel that I want people. I always feel that I want people to make their own decision and hear everything, not just to hear what I want them to hear. So go back and watch that video yesterday. Of course, put a thumbs up, because nobody, again, near-death experience is not a very popular topic, and I could tell that video is not doing so well. But I mean, I understood it. So let me go to maybe to me. Is this part here? Let me see.
They are greeted by their family and friends. Maria de Pasquale.
Oh, that part of the story where you just saw that dog right there. In that story, in that video, somebody saw their Great Dane in that video.
Hospice nurse from Delmont with 38 vision of the answer herself. Well, Maria then acknowledged to bring them attempt. Rarely are patient experiences like these discussed in medical training, according to Dr. Kerr.
Well, first of all, you got to watch the video and hear that. I mean, there's not really going to be medical training to something that nobody really truly understands in the first place. I mean, it's. I mean, seriously, what kind of medical training can you have? You know what I mean? It's the only medical training you have is, let the person talk. Let the person tell them who they saw. Let them have their last moments in life. Let them smile and explain. So, they go peacefully. I mean, that's about the only training I believe you need to do, is just listen with your ears. Let them explain to you before, they leave our beautiful world. Here we go.
The focus in medical training is primarily on personally experience these phenomena. He realized that they often have no about this topic from a doctor's perspective, rather than a spiritual or paranormal standpoint, could be impactful and important. Although Dr. Kerr does not practice religion, he cannot ignore the frequency and realism of positive experiences reported by dying patients who...
And I like that part, at least. They can't ignore of all the stories that people have said, or stories that are reported. Not every story is reported. My father's story wasn't reported. The hospitals that I went to, and I'll get to that in a sec. I'll get to that after the video of the people that I talked to. Those stories aren't reported. So these are only somehow stories got reported to whoever they reported to. I don't know. I don't know if there's a report station, there's a near-death experience, or an afterlife website where you can report stories about, hey, this is who my uncle who just passed away, who they saw. I mean, maybe there is a website. I'm sure there's a website for everything. Who would you report that to, even in the first place?
Who connect with those who have passed away before them. These experiences have left him feeling inspired and hopeful about both life and death. He believes that there is something beyond physical existence that continues to exist even after death. Eric Wood, a former employee of a medical company, had the opportunity to hear numerous accounts from patients about their experiences with life after death. These stories often involve seeing their loved ones, as well as unfamiliar individuals with whom they felt a deep connection. While Eric acknowledges that certain medications can induce hallucinations, he firmly believes that not all of these encounters can be explained by science alone. The narratives shared by the patients surpassed the boundaries of scientific understanding. Personally, Eric sensed that the patients trusted him and felt comfortable sharing their experiences, as if they knew he genuinely cared for their well-being. Through his encounters and conversations, Eric has come to believe in the existence of afterlife, a serene and beautiful realm. He encourages others to remain open-minded and receptive to these stories, as the truth about life after death is waiting to be discovered.
All right. So that was that of course that was what you saw. That was me speaking on that last part. So watch that video yesterday, and let's get to this. Okay, so what we were talking about is I worked for a company for 5 years. It was a medical company. That, of course, they got bought out by 3M, which everybody gets bought out by 3M. Is we deliver what we call with these wound vacs to hospitals, to patients with bad injuries and stuff. And I was actually a supervisor of the warehouse. I would deliver when we need to, emergency basis. So a lot of times when I have to do emergency deliveries, because I have drivers who do it for me, I'm going for the worst cases when I actually have to get there quicker because they need it. So I've gone through almost every single kind of hospital on the west side of the state of Washington, King County, Kitsap County, all the way up near Canada. Now the east, Spokane, no. I'm west, Seattle. I mean, all the cities and stuff. So we deliver wound vacs that I don't want to tell you what these machines do. They suck up a lot of bad junk out of people's wounds. And so a lot of times I got to go into the rooms. I got to go into the patient rooms because I got to get autographs and stuff. And I can't tell you how many times I have heard stories from these people, and my coworkers hear these stories that, they tell you. It's like when I walk in, they trust me. It's like they're not afraid of me. Like, yes, I was just talking to my brother. They would say, I just talked to my brother, or I just saw my uncle. I had people who said, I saw some family members who I never met. I only saw them in pictures. People they haven't even met, they said they were there and they were talking to them. And they would tell me some of the conversations. I remember like, wow, that's beautiful. And I'm also there. I needed to get a signature too. I got to do my job too, but I would hear these stories and the only sad part about it is this happens so many times, and so many so many times that I knew the end is coming for them, because when I hear these stories, usually not all times, not all times, but usually they're gone within the 48 hours. And because the reason I know, because I'm picking up their machine like the next day or the very next day. Because usually when you get one of our machines, you have it for a month and all that. Ooh, you give good vibes. Well, I don't know. They trust me. Like Carla, when I was a cable guy, when I used to go to people's houses, people would leave their marijuana, but when you couldn't buy it in the state of Washington, on top of their boxes, drugs. I mean, it's like everybody trusts a cable guy. Nobody hides nothing. Nobody cleans their house for a cable person. But in the cable world, I go so many hospitals and talking to my coworkers, they're like, yeah, every time we get the stories, that the end is coming. It was like a pattern. It's sad. It's like, it's almost like, they're telling me a story. This is this is going to be a goodbye soon. So the best thing to do is let them tell their story. Like, wow, that is awesome. That's beautiful. And I remember one lady, she had like very white hair because, she was like 89 and all that. And I was showing her how to use the machine, or actually I was hooking up the machine because she's 89. She couldn't do it herself. She wasn't in that shape. And she was telling me like, she's telling me I was adopted by, I was adopted, and her adoptive parents were there. And she goes, then right next to him started walking. She said, was my real parents, and my adoptive parents told me to, um, they're here for love, and they're saying sorry that they couldn't be around you. I mean, she was telling me this, like, so she saw her adoptive parents and she saw her biological parents. And I didn't ask, how do you know they're biological, but she knew they were her biological parents. I mean, isn't that beautiful? Isn't that just, I mean, that is just beautiful. You know, it's I don't know what more to say. And there's just so many, I mean, unfortunate stories, and none of these stories are told. I guess now they are. Now I'm on there. So I don't know exactly how some of these stories even really get told. I see, in that video talks about they investigated with the hospice group, and I can see that because hospice people who work in hospice are always with, um, you know, that's their job. They're with the people with their final days and stuff. So they've seen a lot. The the elderly just wanted to be heard. Sadly, when they talk a lot at the time, they are not truly listened to. Carla, that is so true. There's a lot of times that we'll do volunteer at the VA hospital because a lot of the older people, a lot of the older vets, the best volunteer you could do is not serve coffee or cookies, which we've done that, food. They just want somebody to sit by them so they could tell them their stories, what they've gone through, what they have seen. You know what I mean? They and being around a lot of veterans, I've been going, especially lately, I've been going a lot to the veteran hospital. And, and a lot of veterans would tell you that in their dreams and stuff, they see their friends who passed in the military, on their circumstances. Now, some people say, well, Eric, they were in war, they were in this, they're in that, it's like a tattoo in their brain. Yeah, I mean, I can see that, but I think sometimes there's more. I think sometimes people needs to tell you that, they're all right. That's why I'm always intrigued with people and their gifts, right? And I'm not here to tell you people gifts are real or not. I mean, that's up to you. Like Amber Paraworld. You know, Amber Paraworld, she told, she said, she saw my brother who became my sister passed away. And the reason I always say my brother became my sister because she saw a woman, but she could tell there was something like the hair wasn't right. It was because it was a wig. So, if you also believe that people that have gifts, I mean, think about that. If you believe people have gifts, you got that part of evidence themselves if you believe in that part. I mean, you got people telling stories before they go. You got people who I'm talking about the real mediums, the ones that you could trust. Why are they talking to the dead people? So it's so intriguing, and I've said this, one of the things I love about the paranormal, investigating the paranormal, is I wish I had some abilities. I know people always say, Eric, everybody has these abilities. You just gotta. I know. I heard that everybody have these abilities. Listen, some people, we just can't use these abilities. Let's be honest. I know they say everybody can learn to do abilities, but let's be honest. Some of us just can't. We just can't. But to be able to have that conversation with the spirit or ghost. I'm talking about a good conversation. I'm not talking about having a conversation over a digital EVP back and forth. Who are you? Oh shit! I think he said Eric. Sorry. How did you die? Oh wow! You got hit with an axe. You know what I mean? I'm talking about. I'm looking one day to have a conversation with the spirit, and it's not about catching it on film or not, because I don't need to capture ghosts or spirits for anybody. I'm a believer. I have had experiences. I'm a believer. So I don't need cameras and stuff. I want to have a conversation like, what was it like on Earth and why are you here? What's over there? How is your energy still here? I mean, is that what happens to us when we pass away? Do we just kind of come back? And depending on how strong of a ghost you are, that's why some people can see some or not. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. This is why this is kind of the answers that I want, that I'm looking for. Like, it's there's so much out there we don't understand. We fully don't understand, and by you guys sharing your stories. And again, I want to thank about this. I want to thank Penny Van for telling us. Eric, do that voice again. Hey, are you a male or female? It's a female. Wow. How old were you when you passed away? Whoa. Same. I want a full conversation with the ghosts. I've seen them and I've heard them occasionally but I want a full conversation. Exactly. And Carla, and I'm not talking. I don't want a conversation through an app or those machines that the words. I'll take it, but I want the ultimate. I mean, I want the ultimate. I want to be able to sit there and talk to one on one. I really do. One on one, and just if there are things they can't tell me, I get that. I don't know. Is there rules in the afterlife? I don't know. You know, we're it, everybody has stories out there, right? Everybody has stories. But the truth of the matter is, you don't know who's telling the truth, who's lying, who's real, who's exaggerating. Truly, honestly, you do not know. The best truth is if you can have it yourself, right? That's the best truth. Now, listen, I believe a lot of people's stories, I know a lot of people ain't going to be I shouldn't say that. There's some people who I thought I trusted, and then turn out they were totally lying to people. So, but you know, you know, I wanna choose. So, uh, Grasshopper, you probably wouldn't even notice today because I kept changing the times. I was at 2:00, and then I had to move it to 5 and moved it back. So today was my fault. So don't blame your fault. So let's look at the voting now. Let's go re-look at the voting to see where we're at with the voting. All right, we got 28 votes. 96% of you says yes. 4% says no. Did you get the package yet? I didn't check the mail yet today, but as of yesterday, I did not. but I'll check the mail today. Usually, if you're sending it from the East Coast, it takes about 5 business days. So, and all that. So, is there an afterlife? I believe there is. I believe something happens to our energy when it dies. What that is, where we go, I don't know. I don't know. That's what I'm looking for. That's why I listen to these stories. That's why I made that video yesterday. I know that video was about 11 minutes long yesterday, but there's a lot of stories. And yes, again, I told you there's some skeptics in there, but I don't believe in cutting out. I believe just give it all to you, you know, why people think we're having these dreams and stuff. And, you know, so, and yes, I agree with you 100%, Carla. Energy never dies. It's just, where does it go? That's what it is. I know. One person goes, Eric, but don't always ask. You don't always want what you ask for, because you don't want the truth. What if the truth is blank? Well, first of all, and I'm like, I get that. I mean, you don't want to know that it's blank, but I go, technically, how would you know that is just blank? I mean, who's going to determine that, right? That there is nothing going on. I mean, you don't know the truth until, I hate to say it, until you're gone. So there's no way anybody can have any pure, believe, evidence that is like, well, evidence of science will say we're just blank. I get it. At the end of the day, it is a belief system, right? It is a belief system for a lot of us, knowing that our life does go somewhere, and I believe it does. That's my belief. And does me believing that energy never dies all because you believe in religion or not? That doesn't matter. I believe energy goes somewhere. And if you believe that energy goes in your belief system, so be it. That's fine. But I think a lot of us is kind of, we're searching to know what is out there. I mean, too many people have seen too many things, too many stories, too many this, so many family members. I mean, my last conversation with my father wasn't is how the kids are doing it up. My conversation with my father was he was tripping out because he said he saw his parents. That was our last conversation on this planet Earth. And I could tell you that, some crazy things happen at his memorial service that I know it was them, because every crazy thing that's happened there, they would do alive. Like Bigfoot Michigan Rob said earlier, he noticed that his dad would do certain things that he knows it's his dad. Everybody has that certain thing, when it's a family member doing something. You just know. So, if you listen, if we learn anything today, is, first of all, have an open mind, and respect other people's, reasonings, if they believe in something or not, have respect for other people. And, if you're in that situation where when you're in a hospital or something and somebody's telling you a story, listen to them. Just, take a little time, and let them tell you their story. Give them a little time. A lot of these people who told me their stories, they don't even know me. I'm just a medical worker that's delivering machines. You know what I mean? And I mean, I don't know this for a fact. But I bet they appreciated me listening to them. Because I'm sure if they say to the doctor, nurse, they heard it so many times, they kind of get numb to it. If you hear it every single day, they get numb to it. I mean, It is. They get numb. Just listen. Sometimes that's all people want is somebody to listen. I think because you are familiar with your family members' energy, you just know it then. Yeah, that's true. But a lot of the people I hear these stories from when I was working in a medical company, we weren't family. But I think people could sense good vibes. And like I said, just listen. That's all I ask. Just listen to people. And beyond that, guys, I hope you all enjoy this topic. I know this is not a popular topic. Like I said, I knew my video yesterday about this topic was not going to be a big video. I just, and it's the lowest performing video that I've seen. I knew it. I know it. It's like people, especially people in the paranormal, which I think they should be listening to these stories and stuff. I think by people who are true paranormal investigators should listen to these stories because they kind of know, when you go out in the field, doing your investigation in the graveyard, and you're talking to something, maybe by hearing people's stories, I don't know, maybe that'll help you have a better understanding. So when you're out there doing an investigation and all that, it makes you a better investigator. So all I ask is just listen. So, I'll try to put out a video tomorrow. Usually I try to put out a video before a live show now, where that's kind of like the video is before the topic. Here's a story that we heard, kind of like we did today. I'll take that video now, I'll dissect it. I like doing that now because with all the copyrights are going on, with everything that's crazy, you can't do this, you can't do that. I kind of like creating my own little videos, and of course I use the narrator with the old, like the video. Yes, I use a British woman. Listen, I love British people. I love the way they talk. I love British people. I do. In yesterday's video, I decided to use a British woman because I've been using a British guy. I'm equal rights, people. I love British voices. I just love it. I 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 wish I could talk British. I really can, but I can't. And I can't wait to go visit Britain. Don't know when, but I just can't wait. So beyond that, guys, be good, be nice, be cheerful to everybody. Push out the noise. Don't listen to the noise out there. Just behave. Just be good. If you do that, if you follow those simple rules, respect other people, and they're going to respect you. If they don't, then to move on. Show respect, and you should get respect back. If you don't, move on to the people that you do. So beyond that, guys, have a good day, have a good night, and I'll see you all next time on the Paranormal Highway.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass. Did you see it?